Alrighty. And I should finish my show prep by getting the stew and the review going.
That'd be an idea.
It would be an idea. Quite possibly even a good idea.
Year.
Man. Should have gone and sat in my hot tub this morning.
Yeah, did you hear us rip on you about the hot tub thing?
Yeah, I did. I heard every word of it. And believe me, we're going to talk about that.
Hang on, I have that song stuck in my head for the rest of the day now.
So my buddy's mom is out of the hospital. She got released on Tuesday. Even I didn't find out until Thursday.
Wow.
I texted my buddy. I'm like, dude, your mom's out of the hospital. What the heck? And he's like, yeah, sorry. Had to be hush-hush about it. Like, to me, it's not like I've got ABC and NBC on competing lines pumping me for information here.
Right, yeah.
Oh, Tom's got his ALS Ice Bucket Challenge today.
See, I count myself as lucky, the fact that we haven't gotten saddled with that stupidity.
Oh, now see, now that you've said it, guess who Tom's going to challenge?
Probably.
Thanks.
Well, but see, here's the thing, though. If that does happen, my wife has already made me promise to do something intelligent with it, which is going to be difficult for me.
Do something intelligent.
I'm just saying.
What is
have
that?
Have you seen the Patrick Stewart one?
Yeah, I thought that was awesome.
He's like, if somebody challenges you, you have to do something classy like that.
Oh, man. Yeah, see, Tom just said, dude, you shouldn't have said that. Thank you very much, Paul. I appreciate you dragging me into this whole mix.
Sorry, I forgot about the stream being up. Is there anything that Tom and I discussed that you wanted to put in your 2 cents on?
Oh, yes.
No, I mean, aside from the fact that, you took off to put in a hot tub and all that kind of stuff.
No. No, I mean, the main thing you guys talked about, I can't remember exactly what it was. I should have, been in a position where I could take notes. But,
well, the main thing I was thinking in terms of is did you want to comment any on the whole Dove Award nomination thing?
No, I think you guys covered that pretty well.
Okay. Well, I didn't know if you wanted to get in on predictions. Or
Nah. Skillet's going to win what they're nominated for. It's pretty much a guarantee. So,
it's Howdy.
Hey, ladies.
Yeah, see, the thing that annoys me about that is I have a bad feeling that the main reason why they're going to win is because most of the people voting in that category, that's probably the one person who they know who they are.
Right.
And that's probably mean, but I don't know.
Willpower! Willpower!
Oh.
Is that too loud?
Yeah. Very deep in my skull. That is too loud.
You got to talk to me about these things, dude.
Oh, my goodness. Oh.
Is there a way you can turn me down to you a little bit? Because I'm getting very little on my VU right now. So if I'm trying to make you happy, I'm not going to be able to have much audio to send to everybody else. You know what I mean?
Oh, come on. We all know that I'm the only one that matters.
I'm talking about a mix, dude. I can't
I know.
mix it
My
right.
end of the mix is the only side that matters. I know.
Unable to connect to the internet. What? Oh. Must have pulled my cable out. The last thing I saw was Tom say, dude, you shouldn't have said that. And my picture went black, and I thought... So let me see what I missed.
Okay, talk to me.
Let's see. Tim said he'll just jump in the pool. Yeah, Pool and Kelly, that's the same thing.
Okay. Got it. All right. You're lower now.
Okay, so let me bring this back up to about where I had it before, and this about where I had it before, and then you tell me. Is it still too hot?
Yeah, but it sounds distorted.
Okay, say that again. I couldn't hear you.
No surprise there. It sounds a little distorted. It doesn't sound as much loud. I mean, it's a little loud, but it sounds more distorted than loud.
All right, let's try this. You think that's good?
I think that's probably good.
All right.
Bow, bow, bow.
Adventurous thinker. He's an that must be a Canadian word. Remedy Drive was sick last night. David's a good interview, but the off-the-record time got pretty weird, man. He's an adventurous thinker. Then he came back and said adventurous. It's just spell check wasn't his friend.
Now that's what I'm talking about. That was amazing. I mean, I can check it out. I'm buying you a pizza.
You get the pizza.
You get a pizza. You get a pizza. And you get a pizza. Everybody gets a pizza. All right, that was my best Oprah Winfrey.
Very nice.
And a hard place. New music.
That sound okay?
Yeah,
Yeah. All
I
right.
think so. Maybe a teensy bit hot, but not by much.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to bother with it or not. But.
Yeah, probably not. Chris, we didn't sink the ship last week, did we? We'll talk about that, Tom. We'll talk.
Yes.
The whole time I'm listening, I'm thinking Titanic.
Well, there was that moment when I was painting Tom, but still, we don't talk about that.
Right. Did he? He could actually say it in French too. Paint me like one of your French girls. Oh my.
Poor Tom.
That got weird. That definitely got weird.
He thought David Zack got strange.
Yeah.
Off the record time.
So, no, Tom, I was telling Paul the only issue I had, like audio wise, everything sounded really good, but it seemed like your Skype conversation was having some lag problems because Paul would ask a question and then there was a long pause and then you'd answer And I'm not sure where I don't know where the issue was, whether it was Paul's Skype or your Skype or whatever. So there was a few times where I had to cut and slide your conversation just a little in order to get things to line back up again, which is nothing unusual. Paul and I have to do that with Paul's all the time because sometimes his response is closer together than it should be. And again, I have no idea how it ends up doing this, but it's just part of the nature of recording this the way that we do. So, but it wasn't that big a deal. I mean, I listened to snippets that way, but it wasn't until much later that my wife brought the same thing up. I tried to edit most of that out, so whatever. Whatever, man. All right, so I've got the stew, and I've got Tom's review. And I think that's...
Now here's something we hope you'll really like.
I think that's everything, right?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, well, I guess let's kick this off. Kirk is not here.
Oh.
Perhaps he'll join later. I don't know. I need to go and set up an automatic post for like the following week to make this happen so that I can... Let's see. Yeah, she said I was too slow and shattered what was left of my confidence. Wives have a way of doing that. What's that?
Yeah, I said that's just unfortunate.
Yeah, wives have a way of doing that. Only they have that ability too. It's kind of both funny and sad.
Yeah.
No, you guys sounded good together. I mean, like I said, the audio was really crisp and clean. I just had to do more editing than usual in order to make everything match up, but it wasn't a big deal. Wasn't a big deal. At least Paul didn't try to sound like the Mexican Canadian.
Take off there, hoser, eh? I want to eat your guacamole and your milk in a bag.
You want to eat the milk in a bag?
I want to eat the milk in the bag and all.
All right.
That's the way I get down, man.
Okay. Whatever floats your boat, my friend. Whatever floats your boat.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess we should think about getting started. Pierre Lopez, yeah.
Pierre Lopez.
That's awesome.
I like that. That's nice. I go with that.
Oh, man, that's awesome. Everything is awesome. Have you seen the Lego movie?
No, I'm very disappointed I haven't. My wife is not interested at all, which is funny because she liked the Lego games. But I think she saw some of the predecessor Lego stuff, like
right.
One of the Max whatever his name is thing that they put up on Netflix, and she was like, I think she's pretty well. In her mind, it's the same thing. I told her, I'm like, no, it's supposed to be really good. She's like, yeah.
It was enjoyable. I mean, it's one of those things that, unfortunately, if you don't see it before the hype builds,
right,
you're pretty much the only thing you can do after that is be somewhat disappointed.
Oh, okay.
Because the hype is like way up high. And I enjoyed the movie, but I did not laugh nearly as much as I anticipated. But I watched it with a large group of friends.
Right.
And it was more fun listening to the guy behind me laugh at stuff that I thought was mediocrely funny.
Right.
Than it was for me to actually laugh at what was going on. So it's one of those things. You should watch it, just enjoy it for what it is, and try not to let the hype lead you too much one way or the other. But I enjoyed the movie for what it was. My kids liked it. They still run around the house going, "Honey, where are my pants?" Which is from the film. So it's Yeah, so just check it out. You'll enjoy it for what it is. Just don't give in to the hype and expect it to be this amazingly powerful movie.
Right. Yeah.
So it was kind of so-so until Batman showed up, and then everything was a little better after that.
Oh, well, naturally. Everything's better with Batman. Sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, you got your dog up?
Ow! Yeah.
Kick something you shouldn't have?
Caught my pinky toe on my Mac tower, and it did not feel good.
Oh, ow.
Yay, metal to pinky.
Ow.
Yeah.
Is that one of the cheese grater G5 towers?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dual core or single core? Do you remember?
Well, I've had it since it was 3 years old when I bought it in like 05. So
It was probably a dual
since.
G5.
Yeah.
That's what we ran Broken FM on for the first like 2.5 years of existence.
Right.
Was one of those Power Mac G5s. It's still sitting in the studio. It's like our backup that hasn't been updated in about 1.5 years. So if we were to have to switch over to that, our music would be so old. It'd be like, this is what was hot way back when.
Yes.
So
in case you were wondering.
yeah, just in case we had a problem. We had a laptop there that had all the music on it, and I was getting ready to go on vacation to Reading for a weekend, and the Mac Tower power supply died.
Right.
So I'm getting in the car to drive away, and Tim's like, we're off the air, and I don't know what's going on. I came into the studio, and all I hear is beeping, and apparently the power had gone out, and we caught some kind of a spike, and it ended up blowing the power supply. So I'm driving down or up to Reading, and I'm trying to talk Tim through how to disconnect this and connect it into that, and where to do all these different things so that he could get the station back up and running. But again, it was one of those things to where we hadn't updated the laptop in probably 6 or 8 months. So he gets on Facebook and he's like, if the playlist sounds a little different, it's because we're running off of an older backup computer while the main computer is being fixed. Then when I got back after the weekend, we had to go through and try and update all of the music and stuff in order to get it kind of back up to snuff. So yeah, it was a little bit.
Bueno.
No, it was fun though. It all worked out well. It all worked out well.
In the end, that's all that matters.
Yes, and the end is where we begin.
That's right.
Or the end is not the end.
Yeah. The end is the beginning.
Yeah.
The beginning is the end is the beginning.
And so on and so on. All right.
Etc.
All right. Let's hit record in 3, 2, 1.
Mine didn't start. Hang on. All that thought. Dang it!
Oh, is it doing the same Skype boot later thing?
Maybe. Hang on.
Oh, that was weird. I just lost you for a second.
Yeah, I rebooted my soundboard.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay, that all should be right. Let me make sure that we worked fine earlier. Hooray! Okay, I think
Think we're ready?
I think we're good.
Maybe?
Yeah.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Rock in a Hard Place podcast. I am back! And my name is Chris Cooner. I'm a DJ with Broken FM. You can be sure to check us out online at broken.fm. Joining me, the man who filled in so nicely last week, took over and did a great job while I was gone. His name's Paul Gibson.
Yeah, hey guys, what's going on? I'm still here because I didn't take off, because I'm loyal.
Yeah, sorry, I was busy sitting in my hot tub.
Now, if you get sympathy, not so much. No.
Yeah. Well,
Anyway, but yes.
finish your statement. I'll do mine.
Okay, fine. I host the Christian Rock 20 and also the Christian Music Archive radio show. And pretty excited about an upcoming episode of that. We're going to do Lifesavers Underground, also known as LSU. So that'll be a whole lot of fun, and looking forward to getting on that one. So look for that in the near future. And yeah, that's about it. So, okay, all right.
And here all this time, I thought LSU was Louisiana State University.
Yeah, that's the lesser known one. You know, you gotta
okay.
You gotta give them some kind of credit, I guess. But you know, whatever.
But not a lot.
No, not much.
Not a lot. All right. So I just want to clear the air with a few things. Okay.
Okay. All right.
So number one, I was not sitting in my hot tub while you and Tom were doing the show. My hot tub didn't have any water in it. So even if I had been sitting in it, it wouldn't have been very much fun, because had there been water in it, it would have been cold. Are we clear?
What? That you weren't smart enough to put water in your hot tub?
No,
yeah,
not.
I'm totally clear.
No, that wasn't the issue. That wasn't the issue. I didn't have power connected to it or anything like that. It wasn't until Sunday when my father-in-law came over after church that we went down and bought all the stuff to connect into the hot tub to get it to begin to heat water up. But now that it's hot, it's actually quite nice. You'll have to get here at some point and actually try it out, Paul.
Okay.
So, you know, there you go. Second thing, where I was actually last week was at a community event for underprivileged children.
Oh. Did you bring your hot tub?
You know.
See, all of this is just a byproduct of you being jealous that you have a hot tub. You realize this, right?
Well, the hot tub was free, too. I didn't have to pay for it. Somebody bought a house and it had a hot tub and they didn't want it. So if something were to happen to you, just, you know, say accidentally, would you, who would end up with the hot tub? Sarah.
Oh, man.
I mean, you know, she is my wife and all.
But I'm your co-host. That's a bond, man. There's a bond there.
There is a bond there. I will give you that. However, the bond with my wife is a little bit stronger. Just a little.
But is it Jane?
Oh my. No, so last week, or every year, right about the time school's about to start, our local shelter called the Redwood Gospel Mission puts on an event called City Kids. And what they do is they get people to, they get different churches, I should say, to have booths set up with free games for the kids to come and play. And the kids have these little cards and they get stamps every time they come and play the game at a particular booth.
Okay.
And then, but the main thing, that's like after they're done with the main stuff. The main thing that they do is they give kids backpacks and school supplies.
Nice.
So all of the different churches in the area contribute different aspects of the backpacks. Like one church will contribute the backpacks. One church will contribute glue sticks. You know, my church was responsible for making sure they all had scissors,
Gotcha.
pencils, pencil boxes, rulers, erasers, all of that kind of stuff. And then what they do is the kids can go and register online, or the parents go and register their kids online at the Redwood Gospel Mission site. And then they show up at different times. It starts at 10. So the first group shows up at 10, next group 10:30, and so on until like 4 in the afternoon. They bring all these kids into what they call the gospel tent. And all the kids sit down and they get shared the gospel story.
Right.
So it's an opportunity, and because I live in a diverse community, they have an English tent and a Spanish tent. And so they divide the kids up, whether they're English speakers or non-English speakers, and bring them into the proper tent, and they share the gospel with them. Once the kids have finished the gospel story, they're then led down to where they collect their backpacks, and then they get to run free with all of these other churches, have these game booths. And there's not only is there game booths, but somebody brought a cotton candy machine. The Salvation Army was there giving away coffee and snow cones. You know, they do free hot dogs and chips and stuff like that. There is there's a booth that all they do is give away cups of cold water.
Right. Yeah. you gotta have that.
and stuff like that. So it's an awesome opportunity. It's one of the few times that you can see churches of different denominations working side by side for a common goal.
Yeah.
And I find it awesome. It's one of those things that you see so much infighting between different denominations about what is this and who is that, and well, we raise our hands. Well, we don't believe in raising our hands. That's not acceptable. And we run around the pews and bark like dogs. You've got all those different aspects of the Christian faith, and we seem to get lost in discussing all of that stuff that we don't. We can't set aside those differences and realize what our common core, as it were, is, and that common core is Jesus Christ. If you and I both believe in Jesus, birth, death, burial, resurrection, those are like the common things that we can come together on. To me, the rest of the stuff really isn't as important as we try to make it out to be.
Yeah. No, I hear you, man. Absolutely.
So it's awesome to see these churches just lined up side by side and people talking to each other about what's good for the kids and what the kids need and making sure that these kids get an opportunity. It's a lot like what Switchfoot has done in the past. And, they do it every year, of course, with their Bro-Am tournament. But, when they were doing their Vice Versus tour and Dark Horses came out and was talking about the inner city kids of San Diego. And they were encouraging people, if you come to a show, bring a backpack. And they were going to make sure those backpacks made it down to San Diego to the kids that needed them. So it's that kind of idea, just based in our city and done with our own churches, our own local churches, doing all of the support for it.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a lot of fun. It is a tiring day, I can tell you that. Tim, actually, he was supposed to be at the Giants game because it was Fellowship Day, but the stuff for us to be able to go down and represent at the Giants game fell through. So Tim came out for the morning session and Dustin came out for the afternoon session. So I wasn't there on my own like I thought I was going to be. And I mean, there must have been 600 or 700 kids throughout the day that came up and spun our wheel, and some won Frisbees and some won candy and some had some little prizes that they won out of our little pick it out bucket and that kind of stuff. It was really, really cool. And I'm always exhausted when I get done with it, and I'm just tired beyond belief, but I always look forward to it the next year.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome.
So, yeah, it was definitely really good. So while you guys were sitting on your butts making fun of me and not actually doing anything, I was out there serving people.
Oh, we were serving our listeners, man. We were serving our listeners. And plus, geographically, we were a little bit inhibited from being able to come and help you out with that.
Planes fly into Santa Rosa.
That's nice.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I would love one of these days to connect with someone like Switchfoot and see if they'd be interested in kind of popping by and doing an impromptu show. But, doing like a little acoustic set or something like that, I think it'd be awesome. But I don't know how. I mean, I know that there are servants, but at the same time, they're busy servants.
Right. Yeah.
So, but I think it's the idea is similar to theirs, and I think it'd be a good tie-in to work with them on something like that. So,
absolutely.
Not a big deal. Not a big deal. So I do want to say thanks to Tom for covering last week in my absence. You guys did a great job. It was very odd listening to my own show and not having any idea of what was coming up next.
It's very similar to what happens when we really are. The only problem is that you have to be, in control of what comes next, even though we don't know what it's going to be.
Right. Yeah. Totally. So it was very different, but I appreciated it. I thought you guys did a good job. It was an interesting show. It was
an interesting show.
It was
not the way I would have done it.
Yeah, no, it was totally fine. It was totally fine. I'm just razzing. It was very odd hearing someone else's voice coming out with yours instead of my own. And I mean, that makes it sound like I go back and listen to the episodes after I've recorded them. I don't. I will listen to snippets of it to make sure that everything sounds good. But I don't sit and listen to it from start to finish. So it was very nice and very odd at the same time.
I
to
will
be able to
totally
do
admit
that.
that I do that from time to time, and yes, I do laugh at my really good jokes, the ones that I still think are funny. I still
See,
laugh at.
yeah, I tell you, that to me says, man, that really was actually funny and not just
Yeah.
an in the moment funny.
Right. Well, let's hope so.
Definitely.
Either that, or I'm just very easily amused.
So, I thought your guys' coverage of the Dove Awards was pretty good. We've pretty much determined that anything Skillet is nominated for, they're going to win.
More than likely.
You know, so that's definitely a interesting tidbit right there. I don't understand the whole Red nominated for 2 songs in the same category. I'm like,
That happened last year, too.
do you realize that it's the same band you're putting up twice?
Right. At
How
least
does
nominate
that-
the red jumpsuit apparatus. 'Cause then
Right.
It's close, but it's not the exact same thing.
You know, something other than the same band 2 times for for 2 different songs. That it's like, we don't have enough to choose from, so we're going to take one of these really popular bands and we're going to split the vote for them so that they have no shot at winning.
Yeah, I guess. But Skillet can only get one.
Right.
That's okay
Yeah.
because that's just the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
Or something.
exactly. Something, yeah, blah, blah, something.
Or the fact that Red is nominated for their recalibrated album, which is basically the same record plus 1 song and streams.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss. I can't understand what's going on there. Doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Brain hurts.
Oh man. Well, apparently, Icon for Hire's guitarist is mouthing off again, and this time he's taking on his label on Twitter.
Yeah, he is.
Can I just ask, what is wrong with this guy? Does he not like making money? Even the little bit that they may be making?
I don't know. I don't know, and it stinks because this would be so much easier if this was a band that I thought their music stunk or I just didn't like their music or whatever. But it's irritating for me because I'm like, I really think this is a good band. I mean, they're not the best band, but they're a really good band.
Yeah.
But then they start doing all this, and I'm just like, man, why?
Well, maybe you should read the tweet so that everyone else listening can know what we're referring to.
Okay, prepare to join the outrage. Sean Jump, who's their guitarist for Icon for Hire, recently put out on Twitter. He says, our record label, Tooth and Nail, wants $125,000 from us by Monday before we can record more music or music videos. Hashtag R&R Thugs, please retweet. Like, really? And then Chris and I talked about this a little bit before the recording started, but this is also kind of weird. Their manager chimes in and says, does Tooth and Nail pay employees $100K or a year plus benefits and millions to the owner, yet their artists can't afford health insurance? Ask them. Retweet. And it's hard to know exactly what he means by that, which is not evidence of a good tweet. I'm sorry.
Right.
If you don't quite know what they're trying to get at, that's a problem. You
If
need to
it's-
try that a little harder.
If it's that ambiguous that you got to go, was that for Tooth and Nail or against them?
Yeah, basing it on the fact that it's their manager, I'm assuming it's against Tooth and Nail.
Yeah.
But knowing the Tooth and Nail people, and as much as it feels like they're struggling, don't get me wrong. I know that there are record executives who do pull down hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. I don't think Brandon Ebel is one of those people. I mean, he could be. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, here's my thought process. He started the label out of his bedroom. Give him a freaking break. And plus, as far as Icon for Hire, I love you guys. You make really good music, but you need to remove your foot out of your mouth and other parts out of other parts because you're killing me here.
Yeah.
Because all you're doing is making yourself look like a whiny jerk.
Well, and the thing is, it's not the entire band that's making themselves look this way. It's one member, one very vocal member who is speaking for the rest of the band, it would seem, because none of the other two have popped out to say whether they agree or disagree. So it's kind of like their silence makes it seem like they agree.
Right.
But they, so by not saying anything, it's like a silent approval.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. The band retweeted Sean's status. Of course, and again, that who knows?
Well,
maybe that's
he
him
could exactly
on theirs.
he could have access to it. So
Yeah. Now, this is what I really find funny. Brandon Ebel actually follows their Twitter. Not that should be a big surprise, but he does. And I'm just going, wow, how stupid of you guys. It's not even just like, oh, well, maybe he won't see it. No, he follows you guys.
well, I guess
And
I'm
as I
going to
understand
ask.
it, he's a pretty hands-on kind of guy, too. So,
Yeah. Well, let me ask this. I haven't seen the tweet. So when it says our label, did it do the at tooth and nail? Did they add
they
and
tagged
tag
them.
tooth and nail? Okay, so there you go. I mean, that's pretty much. You ever heard the phrase "you don't look a gift horse in the mouth"?
Yeah.
Do you know why that phrase exists? It's like you don't take a horse and then check its teeth to see how long it's going to live when someone's giving it to you.
Right.
You know, I mean, you just you say thank you and you utilize it for as long as it's available. You know, my theory on this is one that says I think that Icon is probably trying to find a way out of their contract.
Right.
And by stirring up this, the thought might be that Tooth and Nail will not want the negative publicity and will release them from their contract.
Right.
But then again, I also see if they signed a contract that says there's money given to them for an album, and if that money's not recouped, then no more music or videos gets made. You know, it's the same thing with like a home loan. Let's say my home is $300,000, and I've only paid back $50,000 on it, and I go to the bank and I want to secure another loan.
Yeah.
Well, the bank's going to tell me, no, you still owe us X amount of dollars, $250,000. Why am I going to give you more when you haven't proven that you can pay this off yet?
Yeah.
So, and that's the way a lot of labels work, is that you get a certain amount of money, they invest in you, and then the money gets recouped. For them, the whole health insurance thing, as far as I know, bands are considered independent contractors.
Right.
So the label's not required to give them health insurance.
Right.
I mean, there's just a lot. There's a lot of unanswered questions here. A lot of stuff that I don't know enough about. My gut tells me that Tooth and Nail isn't doing anything wrong.
Right.
That it's guys in a band that are trying to get out of a contract that they don't like.
Right. It's like the child who wants to leave their parents' house and they won't let them move out, so they just decide to make the parents miserable until they do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to me, I'm like, you know what? I get that you guys have never said we are a Christian band, but even if you're going to say we're Christians in a band or anything like that, you're so setting yourself up to look bad.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know that many mainstream artists who could get away with that and it not make them look bad, much less them saying, oh, we're Christians in a band. We don't want to be a Christian band, but we're Christians in the band. By the way, we are going to just act like we're whining up until the point that we get out of a contract which we signed.
Right. Exactly. The chat room is being really quiet on this. I figured that they'd have all kinds of stuff to say, but they're not talking at all. I even refreshed the page thinking maybe I missed something.
Right.
My word.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens with this, where this all kind of heads, and my gut says it's going to blow up in Icon's face and they're going to end up. I mean, honestly, let's say that he's doing this to try to get out of a contract. If you're another label, no matter how good their music is, you see a member of a band throwing a temper tantrum.
You see drama on the horizon.
Are you going to want to sign that band?
No.
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 Not even
it's
close.
One thing if you're already immensely popular. It's another thing if you're a band that's kind of on the rise. I mean, I love them. I think they're a great, talented band, but at the same time, I am sure that there are other bands who labels and R&R people think are just as talented and have just as much of a shot of being a hit that won't cause this public a drama over it.
Right.
And that's what kills me about it. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
Just get it together. And honestly, and this is what kills me about it. they're putting effort into making themselves look bad. It's not like, oh, stuff happened around them and oh no, it made us look bad. Oops. Like he's going out of his way
Right.
to make them look bad. Doesn't really fly.
Yeah. Tom says, I'm loving it. I'm just in witness Chris rant mode.
Oh.
And Alyssa said that she got a commercial got in the way of hearing what it was that he said.
Oh.
So she doesn't know what it was that he said. Maybe real quick, read it again, Paul, so that Alyssa can know what we're talking about.
Oh, okay. Well, see, I have to get back to it now. Where did it
Come
go?
on!
Sorry, I thought we were done with that. Basically, he said the guitarist for Icon for Hire said that Tooth and Nail wants $125,000 by Monday, whatever day it was. By the following Monday, before they will let them record more music or do another music video. And he's basically calling them thugs and whatnot for not letting them do that. And yeah,
He's whining, essentially.
Yeah.
So it's it's not good. It's not good. Well,
Nope.
I have not. I've enjoyed some of what Icon has done. I'm not a huge fan, so if they go away, I'm not going to be heartbroken. I just think it's poor sportsmanship to have a label do 2 albums, and because you don't feel that you are as mainstream as you should be, and people aren't just showering you with funds, to pull this kind of stuff with your label's just crap. And I'm sorry, I don't think you're looking to the future at all. No label's going to sign you if this is how you treat your current label.
yeah.
It's the same with
no
any.
good.
It's the same with any job. You got a job working for anybody, and you're bad mouthing your current boss to somebody who might be your future boss.
Right.
Your future boss is going to go, I don't want to be his future boss.
Right. It's like going on a first date with somebody and you're like, oh, by the way, what was your past relationship like? Well, we broke it off after I cheated on her,
Right.
but it's no big deal. I would never do that to you.
Right, exactly. Exactly. We see this in circumstances all the time. We see people that are having affairs, and either the man or the woman is confident that the other person is going to leave their spouse and come be with them forever and ever. And I'm thinking, if they're willing to leave their current spouse for you, then odds are good that they're going to leave you for someone else at some point in the future.
Right.
It's like, let's think this through to a logical conclusion. But then you start dealing with passions and things, getting caught up in the moment, whatever. It's just, it's really sad to see this kind of stuff happen with a band that I think could potentially be really good if they would just shut up and focus on the music.
Right.
I mean, I see this going one of 2 ways. Either Icon goes away, or Ariel gets fed up with his crap and boots him out of the band, brings in a new guitarist, and maybe then they blow up.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. But, Sean, you're shooting yourself in the foot, buddy. You come off as a whiner and a crybaby. You need to just shut up, put your head down, and do the work.
Man up, man.
That's what I'm saying. Too much drama. It's not worth it. It's not
Save
worth
that
it at all.
drama for your mama, man.
What other newsy stuff do we have to go over today, Paul?
Just for the sake of having it mix up a little bit so you don't have to listen to us talk for the next 30 seconds, would you believe that this has made it up to number 7 on the Billboard dance charts? Check this out.
Did I make a stinky?
Oh, it's not that, but it is this. Yeah. No lie. Isn't that funny? From
Why?
the newly released In Motion, the remixes.
Why did you do that to me? Why?
Is it going to be stuck in your head for the rest of the day?
Oh my word. Paul Gibson, you are on my poop list.
Is it really that bad?
Well, I was working for a mainstream radio station, Top 40 AC, when that song originally came out. And I still remember all of the backlash that Amy Grant got for specifically doing a mainstream album.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And then, the whole divorcing Gary Chapman and marrying Vince Gill or something like that, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, it was Vince Gill.
So Tom says, wow, I just can't stop dancing.
Yeah, so as I gather, I haven't looked at it horribly in depth, but it seems to be the whole album done in remix form, which I could see being kind of interesting. And I always thought she had a cool voice. I just always kind of wished after I got into more of my rock music phase that she had done something a little bit more edgy. And I don't know if this necessarily qualifies or not, but anyway, that is from the mega mix of, of Baby Baby. It's 8 minutes and 50 seconds long.
Oh, my word.
And there's a video that goes with it. It's interesting. Anyway. Sorry, just had to share that.
So, Heart in Motion, the remix, huh?
Yeah. Well, just In Motion, the remixes, I think is how it's.
Oh, is it In Motion? I thought it was Heart in Motion, but.
Yeah, that is the original name, is Heart in Motion.
Okay.
This one's just called In Motion.
Gotcha. Wow. Well,
on to what I'm sure you will consider to be a happier thing. House of Heroes has fully funded their upcoming record. They're going to do a vinyl pressing because they hit their second stretch goals. So they're going to do a vinyl pressing of The End Is Not the End, which is, of course, they're probably their most critically acclaimed record. And now they're pushing towards $50,000, which means they would do a Christmas EP, and beyond that, an acoustic EP at 55 and a punk rock EP at 60. So they're just over, I think, 45,000, somewhere around in there right now. So they're well on their way.
That's cool. Good for them.
Yeah.
I enjoyed...
And the EP is good.
Yeah. Well, I enjoyed the interview. I was coming home... Where was I? Oh, I was coming home from picking up the hot tub. And your show was on Broken. And so I caught the last part of the interview that you had done with Tim Skipper that week.
Right.
And was a good interview. I mean, he seems... I have never, ever had a few minutes of a conversation with him. I think Tim has talked to him. I don't think I've ever gotten to interview him. But he seems like a pretty easy interview in that you ask him a question and he's willing to talk about it.
Oh, yeah. This is true. I don't know where we were going with that.
Well, yeah, I mean, you could expand upon it or something like that. I just, he's easy.
Sorry.
Okay.
See, I thought you were going further with that.
No.
I was waiting on you. Anyway, yeah, he is. He's one of those people who's just a genuinely nice, easygoing guy. He falls in the same category to me as like talking with Kevin from Disciple, who's on the show this next week, and maybe Trevor from TFK, and a few others who just are genuinely nice people who you can tell, really work on kind of keeping themselves in check.
Yeah.
And are very happy to be doing what they're doing and happy to talk about it. And I think that that's something that is lacking in some artists. I mean, I'm not going to call out anybody, but there are some people who you can tell either they're just a little bit too into themselves at the moment, or maybe they just don't want to bother with press kind of stuff. But Tim Skipper especially very much seems like he kind of enjoys it, but not enjoys it to the point where he's like, yes, talk to me about my art,
Right.
So it's a good thing, and I totally dig talking to him at any opportunity.
Well, and you guys talked a little bit at the end about, or he brought it up actually, Copper Lily.
Yeah.
So you talked a little bit about that and stuff. It just, I don't know, it just seemed like a very relaxed interview, very easygoing, and everything like that. So I wanted to say kudos to you, and just he seems like such a good guy to interview.
Yeah,
I mean, it's hard. I've only ever been a part of 2 interviews that I felt like were just not good.
Oh yeah.
And one of them was Brian Head Welch, the very first time I got to interview him, and I don't blame him for this interview. So understand where I'm coming from on this. He was exhausted. He was on tour with Red. It was his first time on tour since he'd left Korn.
Right.
So he was certainly not used to being back on the road. And he said when he's on the road, he doesn't sleep well. Red had offered him a bunk on their bus so that he was trying to get some more rest and things. And he just, it's, I don't know. It was really hard to get answers out of him.
Yeah.
Just because he was so tired. And so that one, I mean, I think I had 20 minutes with him. I think we ended up after like 11 or 12. I just said, thanks, Brian. Appreciate it. Go get some rest. And we hung up the phones. So it was hard. And I was nervous too, because at the time he'd probably been like the most famous mainstream type artist that I'd ever interviewed.
Right. Yeah.
So there was that aspect of it too. And then the other one was Aaron Gillespie. And and again, I don't blame him for this, but he just sounded like he really didn't want to be on the phone with us. Like he had other things that he really would rather be doing that he felt would be more important. And that's fine. He didn't treat us poorly.
Yeah.
It just, his answers were kind of lackluster just because it just felt like he didn't want to be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I've had a couple of those. And it's funny because if you're an artist and you're just about to the point where you're doing interviews or you've already done some and you're looking for a tip, here's a tip for you. Number one, give answers that you would like to have heard from an artist that you like, ones that have some explanation, maybe have a little bit of a backstory, have a little tidbit in there. That's great. Also, smile while you're talking, because if you can't do that, you kind of sound like you're bummed.
Right.
And it's so funny because so many people, when I tell them that, they're like, really? I'm like, yeah. Well, because see, I'm not smiling while I'm talking now, and I'm smiling while I'm talking now. See, you can tell the difference.
Yeah.
And it just makes you sound like you're happy to be there. So if you can do those two things, you'll be fine. Obviously, if you've been doing it for a ton, work on the ands and ums and uhs and kindas and likes and all that kind of stuff. But other than that, those can be edited. But we can't make you sound happy.
I would rather have a pause than to have an
Oh yeah.
I would rather, like, I try to stop speaking when I need to think of what I want to say next, and I try not to do the ums and uhs. But I'm also trained to do this. Like, I've done it for a long time, so it's easier for me to make those pauses to try to collect my thought instead of trying to fill that dead space.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people have a hard time not filling that dead space. It's like, oh, it's quiet. I need to say something. So that's kind of how it boils down. Just let the silence be silence. It's okay. From an editing standpoint, we can just clip out that dead space, and then we don't have to worry about your bleeding into the beginning of your next word.
True.
So there you go.
Yes.
Tips for giving interviews right here on the Rock and a Hard Place podcast.
Thank you. You may send your check for $29.95.
That's right.
To Chris Cooner.
What else we got, Paul?
Well, this I thought was very cool. Andrew Schwab has announced via email to fans
that he's leaving Project 86.
No, that he's leaving California. He's going to Colorado, and he's going to take a position at a church. And that means that, well, as he put it here, I'm just going to read what he says. He says, as of September 1 of 2014, my family and I will be relocating to Colorado. I've accepted a position as a director of both the young adults and men's ministries at Crossroads Church of Denver. This is what this means is that the 10 soldiers will have a new base of regular operations in one of the fastest growing cities in the country. So I don't think this is going to have any effect on Project. They may tour slightly less, but at the same time, I would tend to think that they went into this with their eyes wide open about who he is and what he does.
Right.
And still, even during their most hectic touring, I wouldn't say they're gone, more than, 3 to 4 months total a year, which is a lot for a normal job. But when you're in that kind of a position, there's usually people who can fill in and pinch hit for you more so than if you were, a CEO of a company or something like that.
Yeah. No, we've had many conversations with Andrew over the years. He's called in and talked to Tim and I a number of times, and he's always a great interview, very easy to talk to, very forthcoming with a lot of information and willing to answer just about any question you throw at him. It seems like nothing phases him.
For sure. He's very unflappable.
Yes, absolutely. He is a fun interview because of that. And I have told him many times that I sense just not only just in his music writing, but just in his personality that he has a pastor's heart.
Oh yeah.
And that he has a passion, especially for young men. And so, oh my, he has a passion for young people that he wants to see them grow and mature in Christ.
Yes, for sure.
Okay. And so I think that this is a great opportunity for him to just continue down that path. What does it mean for Project? We don't know. I don't think that Project 86 is going to go anywhere anytime soon. But then again, he may find that pastoral life and touring life might not go hand in hand anymore. I mean, anything's possible.
It would be interesting to see how it does affect it, because there are some bands that is very obvious that studio time is not their cup of tea. They're just doing it so they can get back out on the road and play new songs, and they have an excuse to do that. Other bands, you can tell they live to be in the studio, and touring is a necessary evil because that's how they really make money. So it'll be interesting to see if that plays one part or another, or if that accentuates kind of their preference, I guess, at this point. But I don't know. I know that he really does love to tour.
Yeah.
And at the same time, the band has gone through a second overhaul very recently. So I don't know. There's no way of knowing how to predict this, but I have a feeling like you. I don't think they're going to go away, at least not anytime soon. I could see them maybe phasing their way out over the next 5 years, but let's face it, they've already been around longer than your average band, whether Christian or non, already.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly. It'll be interesting. Let's see. Project 86 is hitting the road with Disciple this fall too, Tom says. So yes, that is true. That is very true. Let's take a quick break, Paul, and do this real quick.
All right.
Now here's something we hope you'll really like.
And a hard place. New music. Manifest the moment.
Picture this, the rear parking lot of an old church on a main street in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada. A tiny little stage with about 30 people standing in front of it. Yours truly mixing on the board, and Chris Greenwood, aka Manifest, and his DJ rocking out like they're in a stadium. True story from about 10 years ago, and boy have times changed. Possibly one of the most inspiring figures in Christian music today, Man is back with his 7th album, The Moment. If you followed Manifest over the course of his career, you know why I refer to him as being inspiring. Rising from life obstacles, including the suicide of his father, he might have been known as a pro skater had it not been for an injury that ended that possibility. It didn't keep him down, though, as he focused more on music as a creative outlet. Early on, he held a full-time job as an IT tech and still found time to make some pretty good rock-rap tunes. He stuck with his game, working with pros like fellow Canadian Trevor McNeven, a name you hear a lot of if you follow Mr. Greenwood, and producing some intense records like Citizens Active, The Chase, and the sign of him really taking things serious, 2012's best-selling Fighter. But if you really want to know why he's so inspiring, just listen to his podcast or read his book. Yes, he's a published author. It's called Fighter, 5 Keys to Conquering Fear and Reaching Your Dreams. If you're not into reading, just download the audio version for free or tip from noisetrade.com. Produced largely by Joel from TFK, The Moment was funded via Pledge Music, and Manifest gave his supporters an inside look into the entirety of the creation of the record, something I bet he wishes he could have done more of before. The new record has all the basics of a Manifest album: beat-driven hip-hop style lyrics, hooks sung with vigor and purpose, but there is a big difference between The Moment and the rest of his catalog. The new album takes a bit of a turn into a new direction, sonically speaking. Sometimes that can be a scary thing, and at first, when I listened to The Moment, it was. Starting with the title track that urges us to defy society's pattern of living for the almighty dollar, to the first single, Edge of My Life, the story of a struggling father trying to provide for his family in hard economic times, I couldn't help but notice a different sound. When the third song, Criminal, played, which is a stark reminder of how guilty we truly are and how big God's grace truly is, I started to accept the fact that I might not hear the ruckus guitars and other rock band elements that have been found on other Manifest releases. Throughout this record, Manifest replaces a lot of what brought him to the dance, so to speak, with more pop-style elements. It might sound like I'm about to slam Manifest for the sonic shift, but actually, I'm okay with it. Maybe it's the fact that he's paid his dues. Maybe it's the niche that he finds himself in. Maybe I'm in a good mood. But I'm good with a more mature and pop-styled Manifest. He's still rapping, he's still inspiring, he's still Manifest, just another chapter in the book. Even if you are discouraged about the new direction, by the time you get to track 6, Light, you forgive him. It's a spoken word pep rally that sums up his book and podcast and overall message in a nutshell. A notable track from the record is number 7, Diamonds, the collaboration with, you guessed it, Trevor McNeven. Trevor provides the hook to an anthem of redemption and hope to those struggling in a cycle of addictions and other things that suck the life and light out of us. Give this song a spin and your head will bob and your heart will be lifted. Oh, and if you really miss those guitars, throw on the love song Paradise or Bull in a China Shop and you'll find your old friend waiting for you with open arms. Maturity, progression, professionalism. The Moment shows that even after all these years, the rap rockin' Canuck from Pickering, Ontario still has some bullets in the clip. I give The Moment by Manifest 3 rocks out of 5. For the Rockin' a Hard Place podcast, I'm Tom Labonte.
Tom is the only one I know of that can call him Manna and get away with it.
Yeah, well.
So if you want to find out more about Tom Labonte, you can listen to him on The Edge, UCB Canada, or rockfortherock.net, and we appreciate all the hard work that Tom puts into those reviews. It's quite fantastic. And it saves me from having to do it, which is always good.
Yes, it is good. And by the way, a quick side note about that. That track Diamonds featuring Trevor from TFK, you can grab for free off of rapzilla.com in their free MP3 section.
Awesome. Good deal.
Yeah, and it's a good song, too.
Just got word from Zine Smith, who is the lead singer of Fight the Fade, that his grandmother is not doing well, and so he's asking for prayers for his grandma. So if you guys have an opportunity, would you say a quick prayer for his grandma? And for Zine and his family, it's looking like she is not going to be with them for very much longer. So,
that's never true.
Yep, say a prayer, please. They would greatly appreciate it, most definitely. Do we have any other newsy stuff to share there, Paulie?
Yeah, I do.
Well, let's hit it.
Do you remember a dude by the name of Jason Rao?
I know the name. He was with Red.
Yeah, he was one of their principal songwriters, and he was their guitarist.
And he left, and he's been doing like music production.
Yeah. Well, he's got a new job.
Oh.
He is now the guitarist, one of 2, for the mainstream rock band Breaking Benjamin.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they rebuilt the band because evidently there were some legal issues. Their lead singer had like an illness that took him out for a while, and the other band members evidently okayed a little remix project or something for a best of album or something like that, and he was not okay with that, so they are no longer in the band, and it's basically him and an all-new band.
Wow.
And one of those members is Jason Rao, so he's pretty excited about it, and They're one of those bands that I would say kind of falls into the category of bands that you might not necessarily recommend to like youth group kids, but at the same time, they tend to have a lot of, I guess, spiritual undertones to what they do. So I think that it's a pretty good fit for him.
Cool.
Maybe a tad bit surprising that if he was going to go back in, that he wouldn't just go back to Red. But who knows? Maybe there's more to that than we know anyway. So I don't know. But in any case, I think it's really a cool step for him. It'll be interesting to see what kind of waves that makes. So.
Well, and it's not like Red is hurting to where they need him back. So, I mean, it's even possible that he expressed a desire and they said, no, I think we're good.
Right.
So, I mean, not that they would necessarily do that, but it is possible.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So that's
cool.
Something. And then the other thing is, I totally wish I would have brought this up while we were talking about the Double Awards earlier, but they've announced the host. This is such an odd pairing to me. It's actually 2 hosts for the Double Awards this year. We have Matt Millard of Mercy Me and Lecrae.
You mean Matt?
Bart, excuse me.
I was going to say, I know of Bart. I didn't know. I was thinking Matt was like his brother or something.
Sorry, no, Bart. I don't know what I was thinking. Yeah, Bart Millard of Mercy Me and Lecrae. Isn't that an odd pairing?
Tom wants to know how you pronounced Jason's last name.
Rao. It looks like it should be like Rouch or Roche or something like that. But as I understood it when I talked to him, it's Rao.
Okay, so it's like just the silent at the end.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, so say again, Bart Millard and
Lecrae.
Boy, they are really trying to reach a broad audience with that pairing. That is one of those you kind of scratch your head and go. Yeah, Arsenio Hall used to do these things on his show. Things that make you go, That's one of those things.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's a preview of next year's Double Awards. We are going to have Sandy Patty and Ryan Clark.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how it would kind of play out.
I would love
Michael
to
W.
hear,
Smith and Brian Head Welch.
There you go. I would love to hear a duet though with Sandy Patty and Ryan Clark. Though, be like, "Sing your praise to the Lord." That'd be great.
Okay, so something else that you guys shared last week was Ryan Clark's side project.
Yes.
Okay, I want that.
I know. And we posted the link to that track. But as far as the full length, it hasn't dropped yet, but it will.
Yeah.
Or an EP. It might be an EP. I can't remember now.
Oh, that sounds so good. So Alyssa says Bart's a funny guy, but they are really different choices. So I've never met Bart. I've never had a chance to interview him. I know Mercy Me did a concert here in Santa Rosa, and of course we sponsored it because we're like a Christian station in town, and so we gave away tickets for people to go see him and stuff like that. And it was a fun show. I mean, they did a great job doing their thing, and I mean it's quite the stage presence that they have. But I don't know him outside of that. So you very well may be correct in that he's a really funny guy. I will take your word for it on that. Tom says Millard and Lecrae. That's like Dre and Apple.
Yeah.
So sure. I gotta say, I haven't talked a whole lot about this on the show, just because of everything that's been going on with my friend. If you know you and Tom mentioned it last week that the lady American who contracted Ebola. Her name is Nancy Wright-Bowl. She is the mother of a very good friend of mine who used to pastor at my church here, and Jeremy. So it's been weird for me seeing him like sitting down with Matt Lauer on the Today Show. Last night he got interviewed by Anderson Cooper from CNN. And, so I'm watching this episode of CNN's Anderson Cooper. It's like the first time I've ever watched the show. And then it gets down towards the end, and all of a sudden, there's my friend Jeremy sitting across and having a conversation with Anderson Cooper. Okay. So all of this has been really, really weird in that regard. So what people don't understand though is that Nancy and her husband David had to leave everything in Liberia because it all could potentially be contaminated with the Ebola virus.
Right, yeah.
Okay. So they had nothing except the clothes that they were given when they were released out of the isolation unit. Okay.
Yeah.
So my friend Jeremy sends an email off to Tim Cook, CEO of Apple, and I can't think of his name, the CEO of Amazon, Jeff Bezos,
Yeah.
the CEO of Amazon. Gets a response back from both
Wow.
that says, hey, your family's been in our prayers, and we'll have somebody contact you soon. So I texted my buddy the other day, and I was like, so what did Apple and Amazon end up doing? And he said Apple basically gave a brand new iPad and a brand new iPod to replace what they had lost, and Amazon sent them a brand new Kindle Fire.
Wow, that's cool.
No charge, no nothing. Just as a here, you guys have been through a lot. Here's something to help, so that at least get you back on your feet.
Cool.
So, and I have another friend of mine who started a GoFundMe to raise money for them to be able to support, to replace anything, clothes and all of that kind of stuff that they had to leave behind.
Right.
And it's up around $2,500. I think there's like a $10,000 cap, and it's up around like $2,500 or something like that. So
Nice.
people have been very generous. It's been neat to see. It's just been so weird.
Yeah.
Watching all this unfold in front of a national audience,
Right.
and Nancy doesn't want anything to do with the media. So when she got released from the hospital Tuesday, it was all very hush hush, like nobody knew except the family that she was getting out.
Right.
And then they whisked her off to her and her husband have been whisked off to some unknown location where they're going to get about a month to recoup. Dr.
Right.
Brantley, who was the other guy, the other American who contracted Ebola, he got released on either Wednesday or Thursday, and he did a press conference, and then he and his wife and family were going away someplace for a month so that they can just kind of reconnect as a family and get back together and all of that kind of stuff.
Right.
So it's all very weird, having this hit so close to home that to be something that's on such a large worldwide stage.
Yeah, absolutely.
And,
and it's not as weird for me, but I went to school with him, and I didn't know him, but it was weird because a lot of people were like, all my friends from my alma mater, like, oh yeah, he's an ACU grad. I knew him. We hung out, and I'm like, why do I not know? And for some reason, I guess it was just like the pictures that they showed at first of him older didn't make me reconnect, and then they posted like a yearbook picture of him, like, oh yeah, I do remember him. So, and then to find out, that Chris had this connection too, I'm like, wow, this is such a small, weird world.
it really is, isn't it? I mean, that's the big thing is, I have people, because his wife was the principal of the elementary portion of the Christian school here in Santa Rosa that is sponsored by our church, and people were not putting it together that this was her mother-in-law. So I'm getting texts going, is this any relation? Are they any relation to Stephanie? And I'm like, it's her husband and mother-in-law. Like there's this connection here that that a lot of people just they were going right up to that point, but not able to make the leap over into understanding that this is a direct impact. And then Jeremy sends me this text the other day with this website that is set up, and it's this complete I asked him, is this satire? And he said no, there's somebody out there that is purporting that this whole thing is a hoax, that like it's all this big elaborate hoax. And so I go through and I'm reading this website, and everything they're saying on it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, it's just completely worthless what they're talking about. And then it gets out, when he sent me the text, he sent me the link, and then he goes, dude, you've got to read the comments. So I'm getting down through the comments, and there's this one guy who is saying that he's tracked my friend's wife to being an agent of Mossad and like a Russian Jew and all of this kind of stuff. And I'm just
like put whatever
completely
you're
floored.
smoking down.
That's
Put
right.
it
So
down.
I sent her a text and I said, Steph, I'm really disappointed that you never let me know that you were a Mossad agent. And here all this time I thought we were friends.
Yeah.
You know, she had a good laugh out of that. But
Funny.
we also, they had years ago had introduced us to this game called Killer Bunnies. Have you ever played this game before?
No.
Killer Bunnies? No? Okay. So the premise of the game is that you have stacks of cards, and some of them have weapons, and some of them have a take a carrot card, and you have money, and you have bunnies. And you play the game, and the object is to try to get bunnies in your hand and flip them over in front of you, and then the bunnies attack other people's bunnies. You launch these weapons, and they do all kinds of destruction. The goal is to try and be... try and have the most carrots at the end of the game, and the bunnies, you have to have a bunny in order for your carrots to be any good. I know this is a real rough explanation of how it goes. It's a lot of fun, though. Well, we had to laugh because one of the cards, well, two of the cards within the deck, one of the cards is the Ebola virus.
Oh, no.
And a defense card is the containment suit, which protects you from getting the Ebola virus.
That's terrible.
So I came home the other day, and I went through my deck of Killer Bunnies cards, and I pulled out the Ebola virus, and I set it down, and I took a picture,
Yeah.
and I sent it to both Jeremy and Stephanie, and I said, I think I'm going to have to retire this card from the deck. I don't think I can ever play this card again in good conscience. And they
Right.
said, no, wait, save it. We're going to have his mom sign all of their copies of the Ebola virus card. And then they wanted to have a copy of like the containment suit cards to maybe have the doctors and nurses all sign them for him and stuff like that.
That's
so
funny.
I thought it was hysterical. Jeremy said that they've all had many laughs over the whole Ebola virus card from Killer Bunnies. And I think we've all determined that even with those cards out, it's going to be hard for us to go back through and play that game again, knowing that was one of the weapons in there. So there's a little personal glimpse into the life of me. So I'm sorry if you found that portion boring, but that's my life has been keeping track of my friend and his mom for the last month and just making sure that everything's okay and trying to figure out what if there's anything that I can do. And I mean, we even had an opportunity for Sarah. I know you touched on this last week, Paul. We had an opportunity for my wife to fly back and watch Jeremy and Stephanie's kids and Jeremy's brother and sister-in-law's kids, while the two of them actually went down to Atlanta and got to visit with their mother-in-law through the isolation window and all of that kind of stuff. And the doctors said that having more family there than just Jeremy and his brother was actually really good for Nancy. That it brought her spirits up. It gave her more opportunities to talk and share and get more stuff off her chest and that kind of stuff. So it ended up being a really good thing. And I mean, the crazy part about it is we would have done it no matter what. But SIM, the missionary group that they were with, actually paid for Sarah's flight to and from, and they paid her money to do the child care for them, as well as for us to find child care so that I could work while she was back there.
Yeah.
So it ended up, I mean, it's like I said, it's been a whirlwind and everything's been really crazy. But again, that's just a little piece of Chris Cooner life right there. A little slice of this became my own personal podcast for about 15 or so minutes. So,
But that's fine.
all right, on to happier news. Is there anything else that we need to cover there, Paul?
Well, one thing that we might briefly mention, I think we could discuss this more in depth after we've actually watched it, because I haven't got a chance to watch it yet, and I know that I think Tim posted about it on the Broken FM and then on his own Facebook page. But Revolution TV ended up doing an interview with Brian Head Welch and talked to him about his return to Korn. And there's an interview, you can check it out. Probably the easiest way is just to go to indievisionmusic.com and check it out there. But it's like almost a half an hour video. So you might want to carve out some time for that if you're that interested. But I'd like to watch it in the near future, and we could probably discuss that. But I haven't had a chance to do that yet.
Okay. All right. No, that's good. It's definitely, Tim mentioned in that post that we were on a conference call with him, and we supported his decision. Not everybody understands it, and that's fine.
Right.
They don't have to. It's not up to them to understand.
Right.
God works how he chooses to work, and you can't point to Brian and say, no, there's no way God called you to do that, because that's just wrong. It's
Right.
not possible for you to make that decision. He's got to answer this call in his life the way that he feels is proper.
Yeah.
So let's just let Brian be Brian and see what's going on. Tom's asking if we heard the new Will It EP, Searchlight, and no, I have not.
I might have. I think I did. Let me see here. I'm looking to see if it's in my iTunes. Do I have it? Yeah, the EP, yeah. I liked it. That was
Cool.
good.
Cool. I haven't seen it yet, or heard it yet.
Yeah, it's on Noise Trade, so you can grab it for free. It's 3 songs, and then there's supposed to be a full length. I guess it is out now, if I'm seeing correctly. But yeah, it's good. It's a little different, but good.
Awesome. Good deal. What else we got? Anything?
Not news wise. I think we're pretty good.
Okay. Good deal. Well, let's do this.
Okay.
The Rock in a Hard Place podcast presents
The one and the only.
All right, boys and girls, get ready for
The Stew.
It is time for The Stew. And as you all know, if you check out the podcast on a regular basis, there will be one movie in here, 2 clips from the same movie, and 3 different songs that will each have a clip. And Chris has to try to figure it all out as best as he possibly can. I think there are parts of this one that will be easy and parts of it that will be harder, and I'm very curious to see how well you do this week, Chris.
I am curious now, too, with that kind of statement. So I guess the only thing we can do is dive in and see what happens.
All right, sounds good.
An enemy deserves no mercy.
Afraid the facts mixed up.
Well.
Okay. Track 2. Insiders, Fight of My Life.
See, and that's the one I was thinking might be slightly hard, but I was like, but he's an Insiders fan, so I'm hoping for the best. Okay.
Movie is The Karate Kid.
It's really sad that it only took that much.
The original Karate Kid, like Ralph Macchio.
That's right, the only Karate Kid. Let's face it.
Song 1 and Song 3, I'm struggling with though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It felt like the clips were really short this week.
They were, but the third one is the one that I'm really worried about you just not having a clue, even if you hear the longer version. I don't know. I think it came out maybe a little bit pre Broken FM time.
Right.
So it may have been a little bit out of your purview. It's a band that you know.
Right.
But it may not sound exactly like that band as you know it now.
Okay. Let me go ahead.
The first song, though, I have a feeling you'll get it when you hear the longer one.
Okay. Well, let's try the longer one and see what happens.
That's the wrong clip.
It is the wrong clip. That was from last week.
I know.
Okay.
Did I botch that up?
No, I think I did. Let me grab here. Let me try something here real quick while we vamp a little bit on this. Song 1, 23. Vamping. Yes. Vamp. Vamp. Okay.
Well, while we're vamping, something totally unrelated.
Okay.
I've been extremely impressed with the fact of one, that Victory Records has been pushing so much to reach out to media outlets, because their guy's been calling me a lot. And there was one of the albums that he kept on telling me I need to listen to that I was like, it's not going to be something I can play on my show. So I wasn't horribly enticed to listen to it, but finally I was like, you know what, he's put so much effort into talking to me, I should really listen to it. So quick recommendations: the new Darkness Divided album is awesome.
Okay.
It's really heavy, kind of a throwback to like 2000-ish metalcore stuff, really good. And then the Islander record, which also just recently released, also very, very good.
All right, cool.
So yeah,
all right, I got the right song, so let's see what song 1 was. It's Family Force 5, right?
yes.
Sweep the leg.
Yes. Kind of obvious, almost too on the nose, don't you think?
Yeah. Well, that one, I haven't really dived deeply into the Family Force 5 album. Like, I've heard it once all the way through. So that's good. So, okay, so I'm sensing a theme here.
Yes.
All right, let's try track 3. Man, I like it.
Right.
But I have no idea who it is.
Okay. Does anyone in the chat room know who that is?
Probably.
That is it's a lead singer ago, so it's not their current lead singer.
Okay.
They just released a new single, which just started charting with their new lead singer, which has a decidedly more southern rock sound than most stuff that they've released in the past.
Huh.
And this was off their debut album, which came out on what was then, I believe, SRE Records.
Okay. Well, the chat room is not saying anything. Have we given them enough time to?
I don't know.
To pop in and
probably
chat.
Anyway, okay, so that came from the boys in the original lineup of Decipher Down. It's called Fight Like This.
Gotcha. Okay, good deal.
Yeah.
So
the first album called End of Grey, which is pretty decent.
The theme is either the movie The Karate Kid or just fighting in general.
Yeah, you know.
Good deal.
Because I couldn't find, like, I was searching for yes, Tom, Decipher. There you go.
Yeah, finally.
So yeah, I was searching for like ninjas, karate songs. Yeah, no luck. So
yeah,
that was about
yeah.
all I got, so.
Oh man. Oh, that's nice. Well, hey, what can I say? I did a good job. I'll give myself a pat on the back. Try not to pat too hard because, thank you.
Is there a hailstorm over there?
Hailstorm? That was people clapping. Whatever. Hailstorm. How about this?
Marriage.
That was
Marriage is
a
what brings us
wainsment
together.
and wov. Twoo wov will follow you forever. Oh my goodness. Okay, I just shut that. Do you have any noise trade picks there, Paul?
Yes, I did. After
have you
hearing
seen
Tom say that he would rather me ditch the stew rather than not do noise trade picks, I was like, oh man. So now I feel extra bad anytime I ditch on that now. So
yeah,
I don't know if everyone else feels the same way, but I felt like it was my duty. Now the first one is not technically noise trade. I believe you can still grab it on the SoundCloud page of the band Linux, which of course is two of the former members of Philmont. And this is another cover that they did. I think, if I remember correctly, the original band is a mainstream band called American Authors. And to me, they call them cover/remixes because they aren't just covering them in the exact same way. They're doing them to where they almost could have been just remixed to sound this way, even without them doing the vocals and everything. But Some of them are kind of hit or miss. Like they did a cover of Royals, and I was like, I still like the original a lot better. I'm sorry, I just do. But this one I thought was really good. It's different. I don't know if I like it better than the original, but this one stands on its own very well. It's a remake of Best Day of My Life. And here you go.
I stretch my hands out through the sky. We dance with monsters through the night. I'm never gonna look back. Whoa, I'm never gonna give it up. No, please don't wake me now. This is gonna be the best day of my life.
So there you go. I like the fact that they mix it up enough to where it sounds like a different song, and yet it doesn't feel like, oh wow, that's so far off from the original that you're just like, you just messed with a good thing. So I like it. Oh, not a fan?
No, it was fine actually.
Oh, okay. You're just like, I found the button. The other one is a genuine noise trade pick, and we've already played a little clip from it. This is the new signing to Humble Beast, the artist known as Foreknown. And you really should check out this record. It's so different. It's got a different vibe to it. It's somewhere in between kind of the spoken word artistry of somebody like, oh, shoot, I just totally lost his name. Anyway, you guys probably know who I'm talking about. Anyway, so it's somewhere between spoken word and what most people would call normal hip hop. And I think that you guys will dig on this. This is off of a song called Shapeshifter, and the whole idea behind this song is it's kind of like it's telling us a cautionary tale about dating this girl who just basically chameleons herself to be whatever she thinks you want her to be.
Okay.
And it's got a sense of humor about it that I think is really fun. So here you go. Foreknown, Shapeshifter.
At this point I found the perfect girl, same interest as mine. We started dating, but soon I started noticing stuff, like how she get confused and flustered when I was calling her bluff. For example, she said she was a Star Wars fan, and then told me that she liked the part where Vader killed Anakin. You mean philosophically, she said no, I mean physically. Remember when he killed him with the force electricity? I told her that's impossible, they're the same person. Nervously she said she saw the unreleased version. Well, it was all downhill from there. She didn't like the stuff I like, she was just real prepared.
And then it goes on to talk about how she went and like pre-trolled him on MySpace to find out what he likes so that she could do just a teensy bit of research so she could sound like she knew what she was talking about when she discussed things that were his bag.
That's awesome.
So, and it's funny because he goes back and forth between just being brutally honest and very upfront and blunt to stuff like this that's a little bit less serious but funny. There's another song that's basically about the idea that this guy has started dating this girl who just is very easy, but he blames the fact that he's having sex with her because the fact that she's easy, and he's like, really, this is just as much, if not more, your fault. And it's just very bluntly honest about things that especially in I guess the hip hop culture tend to be an issue, and I guess in just the world in general, but. It's a good EP. It's called Ornithology, I believe.
Okay.
And yeah, so the guy I was trying to think of the name of before is Propaganda. So he's on the same level, on the same label as Propaganda, and so similar stylistically in some ways. But if you like hip hop and if you like the low end bass, man, you can't go wrong with this. And it's on Noise Trade. You should definitely go grab it.
That's awesome. Sounds really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy me some good music once in a while. And that, I mean, it's kind of got a little bit of a funny flair to it, which I liked also.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
So that's...
And in case you forgot, this is also the same dude who brought you like one of my favorite tracks ever just because it's so weird in its title. It's the hashtag Footy Pajama Pizza Dance Karaoke Party Go.
Right.
So that's on there as well. So
right.
Which
even of course is awesome.
That, you got to pick that up.
Oh, good deal. Good deal. So just 2 this week?
Just 2 this week.
All right. Well, I suppose we'll let you slide, okay. Since that's what's
normally
going on.
2. I did 4 last time to make up some ground because I had skipped for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I felt it.
Well, that's all right. Well, what can you say? What can you say? Let's see here. I guess that is it. Well, we started a new thing called a Patreon page, and what that's going to allow us to do is a little bit of fundraising, essentially. It's going to be a thing where we can ask you guys to donate to the podcast to try to make this a better show. I mean, I enjoy what we do, and of course, Paul and I love to dedicate time to trying to make this show happen. But there's times where, compensation is something that becomes a part of it, and we could spend more time doing prep and getting better equipment to be able to make sure that we maintain a level of quality that we are both proud of. And while I'm super pleased with everything we've been able to do so far, in order to grow the show and continue to grow the show and continue to be able to do the show, we've got to generate funds at some point in order to make that happen. So what it is you go to patreon.com/ and then RNAHP. And you can find the Rock and a Hard Place podcast, and it gives you guys an opportunity to take part, to partner with us, to donate if you want. There's different things that, if we had funds to be able to purchase stuff, we could say, if you become a $5 a month donator, we get to send you XYZ and all these cool little deals and stuff like that. We're not to that point yet. So we're just looking for funds. The first tier that we've got set up is at $100 a month, we can buy Paul a new video camera to be able to get his video quality to be a little bit better, a little clearer, which would be awesome to be able to maintain that and to do that.
Although, forewarning, you think I'm ugly now.
Yeah.
Just wait until you see me in HD.
Exactly. So, that's the kind of stuff we'd like to be able to utilize the funds to just continue to improve the show, but also to give back to you guys as listeners who have given us so much of just your time and your energy and everything like that. So if you have an opportunity, you can do as little as $1 a month. You can do $5 a month, $10 a month. It's completely up to you as to how much you donate, and we're just appreciative of anything that you might think you are capable of sliding in our direction to be able to continue to run the show. And continue to grow it, make it better. We will continue to do the show for free. We're not planning on charging for the show. Paul and I haven't really talked about the possibility of even adding in commercials or sponsors in that regard. We've discussed it a little bit, but we've never done anything with it to kind of progress that forward. And that's the kind of things that he and I are going to be talking about over the next couple of months to try and maybe see if we can't push this in some kind of a financial direction. Just like I said, to allow us a reason to spend the time doing it. I know for me and my wife, it's hard for her to see how much time I spend getting everything taken care of and what it takes away from family time when there's no financial justification for it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, yes, absolutely.
So we want to be able to be good stewards of what God's given us and be able to show our wives that there's a reason we do it. It's not for the money, but the money helps in the justification.
Yes.
Hopefully that sounded the way I wanted it to sound.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Because, we're not doing it for the money. That's not the reasons.
No. We are in the wrong industry to be doing it for the money.
Exactly. Is Monday a holiday?
No, I think it's a week from Monday is a holiday. I think. I could be wrong.
Yeah, that's weird. Because the calendar software I'm using to create logs for Broken right now is showing me Monday as red, which usually means that Monday is like part of a 3-day weekend. So I'm a little confused. Maybe it's Canadian software and it's showing me a Canadian holiday that I don't know about.
Yeah, and those aren't real, so we don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, exactly. Not for us anyway. Boxing Day.
Because every day is a holiday in Canada.
So, if you want to contact us, you can do that. You can do it at rockandahardplacepodcast@gmail.com. You can do it at facebook.com/rockandahardplacepodcast. rockinahardplacepodcast.com is the website. So that's another way for you to get a hold of us. And, we'd love to hear from you. Take a minute, go through and set up a review in iTunes if you have not already. We would appreciate that as well. We didn't have any new ones the last time I checked, so we're not going to be able to share any of those with you at this time. But, we love it anyhow. If you would take the time to go write us a review, leave us a review, and just tell the world what you think of the Rockin' a Hard Place podcast.
Sounds like a winner to me. I like it.
It does, absolutely. Well, guys, thank you. Paul and I are going to head out of here. We want to say thanks for listening. I'm Chris Cooner.
And I'm Paul Gibson, also known as the other dude.
That's right. See you next week.
We'll be right back.